Okay, so Act 3, scenes 3 and 4. We have just some more unfolding following the results of Tybalt and Mercutio's death. Those events set into action a series of events that eventually lead to Romeo and Juliet's death. Remember, we have known from the very beginning of the play, they tell us in the prologue, that it ends with their demise. So everything happening now is just sort of snowballing into what will lead to their death. So lots of stuff going on, lots of people all over Verona making decisions. We see the nurse go to Frair Laurence's cell. We know that within that area, Frair Laurence has tried to be comforting Romeo. He told him that his punishment from the prince was that he was banished, and Romeo flipped out. We know that Romeo is a very dramatic person. We know that he is very prideful. We know that he reacts really strongly to stuff. He has really strong emotions. So when the friar told him that he was banished from the city of Verona, we see that Romeo would rather die than be banished. He talks about how he would be happier if he was dead, how being punished and being sent away from Verona is like being sent to hell or to purgatory. These are places he would rather go than be banished. And Frair Laurence essentially tells him, you need to get yourself together. You're going to be fine. There's lots of places. This is a big world. We'll get you out of here, I promise. So Frair Laurence wants to help Romeo. We see him really trying to kind of encourage Romeo that banishment isn't the worst thing that could happen to him. But Romeo absolutely doesn't buy into that. And then he starts crying about Juliet, wondering how she's viewing him, sure that she doesn't love him anymore because of this. He's doubting their relationship now. We also see him continue to only talk about how beautiful he thinks Juliet is and how pretty she is and the way that she looks. So we know that there's still not really a lot of depth within their relationship. So this shallow marriage, kind of based on the premise of love at first sight, has now led Romeo to being banished from the city of Verona because he killed Tybalt, and now he doesn't even want to accept that punishment because it's going to lead him to be away from his wife, who he's known for 2 days at this point. So a lot of drama going on. Then we see the nurse arrive, and she talks to Frair Laurence and talks to Romeo. She says that Juliet wants to see him and encourages him to go out at night before the watchmen take their shift, so that he has kind of a window of opportunity to go out when it's dark, but before people are looking for him, to sneak up the ladder into Juliet's room and kind of talk things through with her and make a plan. So Romeo agrees to do that. He's really excited. He's happy that Juliet doesn't necessarily hate him, but he is really worried about their relationship because the nurse told him that she's been really emotional. She's been crying a lot, saying Tybalt's name, saying Romeo's name. Romeo feels like her saying his name over and over is like a bullet to him. He feels like maybe he has wounded their relationship, which obviously he has. He killed her cousin. That's not something you just get over. But he's really excited. He decides that he is going to go and visit Juliet after Frair Laurence kind of gives him this really long speech. You saw it's a very long speech. It's one of the longest monologues that we have in Romeo and Juliet, where Frair Laurence kind of tells Romeo that he's being really dramatic. He's being a baby. He needs to get it together and go get his wife and deal with the situation that he created instead of trying to avoid it and cry about it and kind of not deal with it because it is a problem that he created. And so Romeo kind of needs to man up and address that. That's what Frair Laurence is telling him to do. And the nurse is really on board with that. She's like, Frair Laurence, you're so wise. I'm so thankful for your wisdom. So that's what's going on there. Meanwhile, in scene 4, we find out that Capulet and Lady Capulet have started talking to Paris. Remember, they don't know that Romeo and Juliet have any kind of relationship. They know nothing about the marriage. They know nothing about the love affair. They are completely in the dark about that. All they know is that Tybalt is dead. They hate Romeo. They want to do something to kind of end this season of pain, kind of have a celebration in order to counter all the sadness that's come with Tybalt's death. So they tell Paris that he can marry Juliet on Thursday, and we find out that it is Monday when scene 4 takes place. So they say, well, Paris, we'll give a couple days to mourn. We don't want people to think we're moving on too quickly, and then on Thursday we'll have a wedding celebration where you can be with Juliet, you can marry her, we'll have this union, that's really going to profit both of our families really well, and then that way we can have like something fun and uplifting to look forward to amidst all of this sadness. So they promise Paris that on Thursday, Juliet will marry him. So we now have a timeline. It's Monday. Thursday is when this wedding is supposed to take place. Tybalt just died earlier today. They got married earlier that day. Romeo is off to go find Juliet once the sun sets so that he can sneak up into her balcony and kind of mend their relationship. Juliet is mourning up in her room, processing through her emotions, and the Capulet family is setting up this other marriage. So a lot going on. Things are kind of starting to speed up. We can definitely see where everything's kind of culminating up to a point. If you think of a plot arch, we're definitely near the top here. We're getting really close to when everything comes to that point. So yeah, that's where we're at.